Jake Ludington here at HP Discover, and I'm here with Sriram, aka Cloud Don, and you are a guy who is pretty active in the OpenStack community. How did you get started there?
Yeah, thanks Jake. Again, I'm Cloud Don, Sriram Subramanian, that's Cloud Don. So my journey with OpenStack started about 2.5 years ago. Back then I was a startup, and I was a lead engineer there. And we were doing a cloud marketplace. And for cloud marketplace, we were trying to onboard a lot of hardware, the data center providers, hosting providers, into cloud service providers. For that reason, I started looking at OpenStack and started talking to data centers. Hey, can you try OpenStack? It's free of cost, and can you be a service provider using OpenStack? So that's when I got started. It was like around Cactus release, C release, and so it started as an ops guy. Then a little bit of a Nova plugin, so kind of tried to move into a developer role. But for the past 2 years, I've been doing combination of both a solution architect role plus an independent analyst, blogger thing. Of late, I've been doing a lot of content development, like a lot of analysis, white papers, and blogging reports. And I'm deeply plugged into the OpenStack community. So I keep the pulse of what's happening at OpenStack. I'm part of the OpenStack security group, and generally I'm passionate about OpenStack success. So wherever it's possible, I try to talk about OpenStack, try to help them understand more about OpenStack from various point of views. So
what is it that draws you to OpenStack versus any other platform?
Absolutely. So I've always believed against monopoly. Anything open, anything where there is equal opportunity for many players, I always liked it. And I was not part of Linux movement growing up. I kind of missed that one. But as someone interested in open source, personally, when I saw that happening, then I realized that OpenStack is the way to go for cloud. So that's what attracted me. But once I got involved that one, the way communities, where the developers are talking to each other, and how the code is driving the culture here, that is interesting me here. So.
All right, so I mean, there's lots of implementations of OpenStack. I mean, OpenStack started out as, or at least in theory, something that was supposed to truly be open and common across all providers, and it's turned into this thing where everybody's kind of got their own flavor, a little bit like Linux. What brought that evolution about? So
it's interesting. The way I see that is, right, no vendor lock-in is the biggest premise, and federation of cloud providers is the goal, right? But technologically, federation is still a distant reality. We still have more work to do, not from the OpenStack point of view, but also the other pieces of it, right? Still, latency is a big issue, and realistically not possible to have two data centers geographically separated with talking to each other at low latency. So we are not there yet quite. But the other thing that happened with OpenStack community is this so-called distribution, or the slew of distributions. But that's kind of expected to happen, and just like what happened with the Linux movement. We started with bunch and tons of distributions, and finally we left with like major players, Red Hat, like SUSE or Fedora or CentOS, and handful of distributions. Something similar could happen to OpenStack. Now we already have distributions from Red Hat to begin with. HP has announced their OpenStack distribution. Mirantis has one, IBM has one, and they were like small. There was a lot of small-time distributions also, which may or may not exist right now. But going forward, they may not exist. But ultimately, what matters is the heart and soul of the system. Just like the Linux kernel is, it's going to be OpenStack. They might have some layers of abstraction or some other functionalities. Obviously, like they started with putting in orchestration layer before the OpenStack Heat project came along. So that's how they started putting in their own layer. But also to look at it, most of these players, they already have some investments or have their products in a different framework, different mindset, right? Take an HP. It's an entire portfolio of suite of applications under their cloud portfolio. Now this new shiny thing, OpenStack, comes along. Now they're trying to either retrofit OpenStack or they're trying to do something completely with OpenStack. But at the same time, they don't want to lose their investments on their existing layers, right? So it's natural, the first step to try to have the upper layers with OpenStack is the bottommost, or the kernel. So that's the way it started, like Smart Cloud, for instance, from IBM, right? That's a good example. So you really cannot, in a way, it kind of results in vendor lock-in. So what ends up happening is, if an IBM customer is going to have OpenStack-based Smart Cloud, they're essentially locking into IBM's software. They may not be able to move to Red Hat, for instance, or HP, for instance. But looking at a higher level, though it is happening because of the software, but thinking from a customer's point of view, I'm yet to see a large-scale customer who really is like, okay, I want to have my deployments, or I want to have my my investments on Red Hat plus HP plus IBM, like that. So typically customers are either like, if it's a traditional Red Hat customer, they tend to go with Red Hat's other set of products for their new problems. If someone is an HP customer, they would like to go with HP customer. Maybe if you can talk about organization level or some kind of departments level, but still there is some kind of bifurcation there. If a CAO or a CAO's team has decided to go with Red Hat, they tend to stick with Red Hat, for instance. Or if they decided to go with HP, they tend to go with HP. So anyway, they are going to do that one. So whether the OpenStack-based platform is helping that or kind of enabling that, that's kind of a secondary question here. That's my take.
Okay, that makes sense. So since we're at HP Discover, HP has just announced, I think it was it last week or their
the HP Helion Cloud in May for preview, HP Helion Cloud OpenStack Community Edition, and they are doing a GA. It's generally available from tomorrow, and they have also announced their developer platform, HP Helion Development Platform, preview by this month, sometime this month.
So how does this this community distribution? How is that good for the community? I mean, or is it good for the community?
It's going to pull up, at least the way it's been advertised, is that the community edition is going to be in sync with the OpenStack trunk every 6 weeks. So it's going to be pulling up the features from OpenStack trunk every 6 weeks, and it's going to be in sync with that. Any developments that are happening, it's going to be moving either upstream or downstream. But this is going to be available free, and it is expected to support up to 30 nodes, and everything is free over there. But obviously, like, you have larger customers, and they would need more support, and they would need more. HP needs to make money too, and that's when this HP Helion OpenStack comes into picture, which is commercial edition, and it has got a better support plan and a different pricing model. Today they announced the pricing model is like $1,400 per year per server, which I think is aggressive when compared to other major.
So that's what, like maybe $8,500 cheaper than the closest competitor.
Probably like in the range, yeah. At least like the one that I looked at, it's about $8,500 cheaper than. Yeah.
So that's a significant. So HP's kind of putting their foot or a stake in the ground, saying we're going to own OpenStack.
Oh, we're going to own OpenStack customers, I would say, not own OpenStack. But they're trying to. It's basically HP saying that we are into it, we are committed to it, and we are taking the competition head on. So I'm excited because any version of OpenStack that's going to win, it's a success for OpenStack, whether it's HP or not. Ultimately, if the customer gets a product, if a problem of a customer is solved based on an OpenStack-based technology, I'm happy about it.